There are roads that people avoid because they're dangerous. There are roads people avoid because they're haunted. And then, there are roads that don't officially exist anymore. The story you're about to hear comes from one such road. Locals refuse to drive there after midnight. Truck drivers take detours that add hours to their journeys. Police reports never mention it. Maps slowly erase it. But every few years, someone claims to have seen an old city bus traveling through the darkness. It has no route number, no destination, no company logo, and no records of ever existing. People call it the last passenger. October 14th. 下午11点42分. The rain had finally stopped, leaving the highway slick and shining beneath the moonlight. 5 college friends were driving home after spending the weekend at Black Pine National Park. Alex sat behind the wheel, practical, but calm, the kind of person who never believed in ghosts. Beside him sat Mia, scrolling through photos from their camping trip. In the back were Ethan, Chloe, and Ben. Ben had been telling ghost stories for nearly an hour, and that's when they found footprints on the ceiling. Chloe laughed. You're making that up? I swear I'm not. Alex rolled his eyes. You've watched too many horror movies. Ben smiled. Maybe. But every horror movie starts with someone saying that. Everyone laughed. The tension disappeared. For a moment, everything felt normal. The highway stretched endlessly to thick forest. No street lights, no houses, no other cars, just darkness. Then, the radio crackled. A burst of static filled the car. Mia frowned. That's weird. Alex adjusted the volume. The music returned for exactly 3 seconds. Then the static came back. But this time, it wasn't random. It almost sounded like a voice. Next, everyone looked toward the speakers. What did it say? Chloe whispered. Nobody answered. The voice disappeared beneath another wave of static. Alex switched the radio off. Silence filled the car. A few minutes later, the engine coughed. Once, twice. Then the headlights flickered. Ben leaned forward. Please tell me that's normal. It isn't. The steering wheel suddenly became heavy. The dashboard lights blinked. Then, the engine died. The car rolled silently before coming to a stop in the middle of the empty highway. No sound, no movement, only the wind outside. Alex tried starting the engine. Nothing. Again, nothing. Mia looked at her phone. No signal. Chloe checked hers. Me neither. Ben laughed nervously. Great. We're in every horror movie ever made. The 5 friends stepped outside. Cold air wrapped around them instantly. The forest was unnaturally quiet. Not a single insect. Not a single bird. Only the distant whisper of wind through the trees. Alex lifted the hood. I don't get it. The battery's fine. The engine looks fine. So why won't it start? No one had an answer. Ethan walked a few steps down the road, then stopped. Guys. Everyone turned.
What?
He pointed into the darkness. Far away. 2 small lights appeared. Headlights. Moving slowly toward them. Relief spread across everyone's faces. Finally, help. The vehicle came closer. Closer. Until its shape emerged from the darkness. It wasn't a car. It wasn't a truck. It was an old city bus. Its faded yellow paint was peeling away. The windows were clouded with age. Its destination board was completely blank. No route number. No city name. Nothing. The bus rolled silently to a stop beside them. Its engine made no sound. Its headlights remained dim. Then, with a long metallic hiss, the doors slowly opened. Nobody stepped out. Nobody spoke. Inside, the lights flickered weakly. Every seat was empty, except one. In the very last row, a single passenger sat perfectly still. His face couldn't be seen, only a dark silhouette. The driver remained motionless, staring straight ahead. He never looked at the 5 friends. He never blinked. He never moved. Ben broke the silence. Should we get on? Alex shook his head immediately. No, this doesn't feel right, Mia whispered. Maybe they're waiting for us. Then, for the first time, the passenger in the last seat moved. Slowly, very slowly. He stood up. The entire bus creaked. One deliberate step echoed down the aisle, then another. The friends couldn't breathe. The stranger stopped halfway to the front. His face was still hidden in shadow. And in a calm, emotionless voice, he said only 6 words. There's room for one more. The bus lights suddenly went out. Darkness swallowed everything. A second later, the lights came back. The passenger was gone. The aisle was empty. No footsteps. No sound. Nothing. The doors slammed shut on their own. The bus pulled away without a single engine noise. Within seconds, it disappeared into the fog ahead, leaving the 5 friends alone, on a highway that suddenly felt much longer than before. For several seconds, no one spoke. The old bus had disappeared as if it had never been there. Only the empty highway remained. Ben was the first to break the silence. Did everyone else see that? Alex nodded slowly. I wish I could say no. Mia stared into the fog where the bus had vanished. It didn't even make a sound. Ethan looked down the road. I've never seen tires move that quietly. Chloe hugged herself tightly. I don't want to stay here. Alex took a deep breath and walked back to the SUV. Let's try the engine again. He slid into the driver's seat and turned the key. The engine started instantly, perfectly, as if it had never stopped working. Everyone exchanged uneasy glances. "That's impossible," Alex whispered. A few moments ago, the SUV had been completely dead. Now, everything worked. The headlights were bright. The dashboard showed no warning lights. The radio played music, as though nothing had happened. Ben forced a nervous laugh. "Maybe we imagined the bus." No one answered, because deep inside, none of them believed that. They drove in silence. The forest seemed darker than before. The fog clung to the road like living smoke. 10 minutes passed. Then Ethan leaned toward the passenger window. "Alex, slow down." Alex eased off the accelerator. "What is it?" Ethan pointed toward the shoulder of the highway. Fresh tire marks. Large ones, far wider than any car. They cut across the wet pavement, then turned sharply into the forest. There was only one problem. There wasn't a road there, just dense pine trees. The tire tracks disappeared between the trunks, as if something impossibly heavy had driven straight through them. Ben swallowed. "That's from the bus." Alex shook his head. No bus could fit through those trees, but something did. Curiosity overcame fear. Against better judgment, they stopped the SUV. The 5 friends stepped into the cold night once again. The tire tracks were unmistakable, deep, fresh. The mud was still wet. Alex crouched beside them. They were made only minutes ago. Mia looked into the forest. It's like the trees opened to let something pass. The air felt different here, colder. Still, not even the wind reached this place. Then Chloe noticed something hanging from a low branch. An old bus ticket, yellow, with age. Its edges were burned. Across the front, faded black letters could barely be read. Route 217. Ben frowned. There wasn't a route number on the bus. Alex turned the ticket over. On the back, someone had written 3 words in faded ink. "Do not board." The group fell silent. Without warning, a loud bell echoed through the forest. Ding! It sounded exactly like the bell passengers ring before getting off a bus. Everyone froze. The sound came again, closer. Ding, ding, ding. This time, it came from somewhere ahead, deep inside the trees. Ben whispered, "Tell me someone else heard that." Everyone nodded. Another bell rang. Ding. Then silence. Alex should have turned back. Every instinct told him to leave, but curiosity pulled him forward. "Just a few minutes," he said. "We'll see what's making that sound and leave." No one liked the idea. Yet, no one argued. One by one, they followed the mysterious tire tracks into the forest. The deeper they walked, the stranger everything became. The trees grew unnaturally close together. Fog covered the ground like a blanket. Their footsteps sounded oddly distant, almost as if someone else was walking beside them. Ethan suddenly stopped. "Listen." Everyone stood perfectly still. At first, nothing. Then, footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Crunch. 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 Coming from behind them. Alex spun around. No one. Only empty forest. The footsteps stopped immediately. Ben laughed nervously. Probably an animal. But before anyone could answer, the footsteps started again. This time, from their left. Crunch. 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 They turned. Nothing. Then, from the right, closer than before, whatever was making the sound was circling them. Mia shined her flashlight between the trees. The beam caught something metallic, half buried beneath fallen leaves. She stepped closer. It was an old bus stop sign, bent, rusted, almost completely hidden by moss. Alex brushed away decades of dirt. The faded lettering slowly became visible. Last passenger stop. No town name, no route map, no schedule. Only those 3 words. Beneath them, someone had scratched another message into the metal with a knife. "If the bus stops, don't let anyone count you." Ben frowned. What does that even mean? Nobody had an answer. Then, a freezing wind rushed through the forest. The bus stop bell rang again. Ding. Much louder this time. The fog thickened instantly. Visibility dropped to only a few feet. Alex looked around. "Ethan." No answer. "Ethan." Still nothing. The flashlight beam searched wildly through the fog.
"Mia?"
"I'm here." "Chloe." He. Ben." "I'm here." Alex counted quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. His heart stopped. There should have been 5. Ethan was gone. No scream, no footprints, no struggle. He had simply vanished. And from somewhere deep within the fog, an old bus engine finally made a sound, slowly idling, waiting for another passenger. For several long seconds, no one moved. The forest was completely silent. Only the distant rumble of an old engine echoed somewhere beyond the fog. Alex shouted again. "Ethan." His voice disappeared into the trees. No answer. Mia swept her flashlight in every direction. There has to be footprints. They searched the damp forest floor. Nothing. No footprints. No broken branches. No signs of a struggle. It was as if Ethan had never been there. Ben backed away nervously. This place. It doesn't make sense. Then, ding, ding, Ding. The familiar bus bell echoed through the trees, much closer this time. The four friends exchanged terrified looks. It's waiting for us, Chloe whispered. Alex swallowed hard. We leave, right now. They hurried back the way they had come, or at least, they thought they did. After nearly 20 minutes of walking, they reached the same rusted bus stop sign. Last passenger stop. Ben stared at it in disbelief. No, we already passed this. Alex turned around. This isn't possible. They tried another direction. 20 minutes later, the same bus stop, again. No matter which path they chose, the forest always brought them back, as if it refused to let them leave. The fog grew thicker. Visibility dropped to only a few feet. Their flashlights began flickering, one by one. Mia's light died first, then Ben's. Only Alex and Chloe still had working flashlights. The darkness felt alive. Somewhere in the trees, something heavy walked slowly around them. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Always just beyond the light, never close enough to see. Suddenly, a warm yellow glow appeared ahead. Not headlights, a lantern, hanging outside a tiny wooden building hidden among the trees. A cabin, Alex whispered. The friends rushed toward it. Inside, they found a small waiting room. Dust covered every surface. Old wooden benches lined the walls. A cracked clock hung above a faded timetable. Every listed arrival time was the same. 12:17 a.m. Every departure time. Blank. Mia frowned. What kind of bus station is this? Chloe noticed framed photographs covering one wall. Dozens of them. People smiling beside an old yellow bus. Families, couples, travelers, children. All taken decades apart. Yet, the bus never changed. Ben stepped closer. Something wasn't right. Every photo had one empty space. A gap where another person should have been. The people remaining looked happy, as if they never realized someone was missing. Alex felt a chill, just like Ethan. On an old desk near the window lay a thick logbook. Its leather cover was cracked with age. Alex carefully opened it. Each page listed names, dates, and numbers. Some entries were from the 1950s, others only a few months old. Beside every group of names, one had been crossed out in black ink. The others remained near the bottom of the final page. Fresh handwriting. Alex's heart froze. Alex Carter, Mia Collins, Ben Harris, Chloe Reed, Ethan Brooks. Ethan's name had already been crossed out. Someone had written today's date beside it. No, Ben whispered. Someone knows we're here. A cold breeze swept through the cabin. The pages flipped by themselves, stopping at the final page. A new line slowly appeared, as if an invisible hand was writing. Alex watched in horror. A black ink pen lying on the desk lifted into the air. No one touched it, yet it moved. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The pen wrote a single word beneath Ethan's name. Next. Then it stopped. The room fell silent. Without warning, the cabin lights flickered to life. Although there was no electricity, the old clock began ticking. Tick, tick, tick. Then, every photograph on the wall changed. One by one, faces disappeared. People vanished from the pictures, leaving only empty spaces behind. Exactly as Ethan had vanished. Chloe screamed. The front door slammed shut. Outside, an old engine idled, closer than ever. Very slowly, someone knocked on the cabin door. 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Then came a calm voice from outside. Last passenger. A pause. Your bus has arrived. The knocking stopped. Silence filled the waiting station. Then, the old bus horn echoed once. A long, low, mournful sound. The 4 friends stood frozen. No one dared move. Alex slowly stepped toward the dusty window. Outside, the old yellow bus waited exactly where it had stopped. Its headlights glowed through the thick fog. The front doors slowly folded open. No driver was visible. No passengers. Only darkness inside. Then a deep voice came from the bus. Final boarding, Mia whispered. It's calling us. Alex shook his head. We're not getting on that bus. The station suddenly shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The cracked clock began spinning wildly. Every photograph on the wall rattled. The lantern flickered. Then, the station door slowly unlocked by itself. Creak. It opened just enough to reveal the empty bus waiting outside, as if something wanted them to leave. Ben looked toward the forest. We can still run. Without waiting for anyone, he sprinted into the fog. Ben. Alex chased after him. The others followed. For several minutes, they ran through the trees without looking back. Then Ben stopped. His face turned pale. Standing directly ahead, parked between the trees, was the same yellow bus. Impossible. There was no road, no tire tracks. Yet the bus was waiting. Its headlights illuminated the forest like 2 glowing eyes. The folding doors opened again, slowly, patiently. A cold wind swept through the trees. The bus interior lights flickered on. This time, someone was sitting inside. Rows of silent passengers filled the seats. Every one of them stared straight ahead, perfectly still. None of them blinked. Their faces were pale, expressionless, like wax figures. Mia whispered, "They're real." Alex looked closer. One passenger slowly turned his head. It was Ethan. His face showed no emotion. His eyes were empty. He didn't wave. He didn't speak. He simply stared at them. Then, he slowly pointed toward the empty seat beside him. An invitation or a warning. Ben stepped backward. No, that isn't Ethan. The bus bell rang. Ding. Every passenger turned their heads at exactly the same moment. All of them looked directly at the four friends. Not a single blink. Not a single word. Only silence. Suddenly, the bus engine roared to life. The doors slammed shut. The vehicle began moving, not on the ground, but silently through the trees, floating between the trunks without touching them. Within seconds, it disappeared into the fog, taking Ethan with it. The forest became quiet again. No engine, no lights, nothing. Only one object remained where the bus had been, an old leather suitcase, covered in mud. Alex slowly picked it up. A faded luggage tag hung from the handle. It read, "Property of Route 217. Inside the suitcase were dozens of wallets, old watches, broken phones, keys, and driver's licenses dating back over 70 years. Every item belonged to someone listed in the passenger logbook. At the very bottom lay a folded newspaper. Its headline read, "Local bus disappears with 27 passengers. No trace found." The date, October 14th, 1954. But one photograph on the front page made Alex's blood run cold. Standing beside the missing bus was the exact waiting station they had just escaped. Except one detail was different. 4 young people stood outside the station. Alex, Mia, Ben, and Chloe. The newspaper had been printed in 1954, yet it showed them exactly as they looked today, before anyone could speak. A fresh line of black ink slowly appeared beneath the photograph. One more passenger required. The newspaper slipped from Alex's trembling hands. No one spoke. The 4 friends stared at the impossible photograph. It wasn't just similar. It was them. The same clothes, the same terrified faces. Printed on the newspaper, dated 1954. Then, the forest fell silent. Even the wind stopped. A single bus horn echoed somewhere in the darkness. Long, low, waiting. The old bus stop sign suddenly creaked. Its rusted metal slowly turned by itself. The faded words changed. Last passenger stop became final boarding. A narrow path opened through the trees. At the end of it, the yellow bus waited. Its doors were already open. The engine idled quietly, as if it had known they would come. A figure stepped down from the bus, tall, wearing an old driver's uniform. His cap hid most of his face. Only pale skin and empty eyes were visible beneath the brim. He carried an antique ticket punch in one hand. His voice was calm. "Route 217 never arrives late. It only waits." Alex stepped forward. "What do you want from us?" The driver looked at each of them, then replied, "Every journey must end with the correct number of passengers." He held out an old ticket. On the back was a single sentence. One name was never meant to leave. Mia suddenly remembered the warning. "If the bus stops, don't let anyone count you." She looked at the driver. "You've been counting us." The driver smiled for the first time, very slowly. He whispered, "I already have." The antique ticket punch clicked once. Click. The 4 friends felt an icy chill. Alex looked down. A black number slowly appeared on his wrist. 4. Mia looked at hers. 3. Ben's wrist read. 2. Chloe gasped. Her wrist showed. 1. The numbers were changing, counting down, towards something. The driver raised one hand, bored willingly, what the forest would choose. At once, the trees began to move. Tall pines bent inward. Roots burst through the ground. The path behind them disappeared. The forest itself was closing in. Alex grabbed the old suitcase. Inside, beneath the personal belongings, he noticed a small brass emergency hammer, the kind used to break bus windows. An idea flashed through his mind. If this bus traps people, maybe it can also be broken. The friends ran toward the bus. The driver didn't stop them. He simply watched, as though he already knew the outcome. Alex climbed aboard and swung the hammer with all his strength. Crash. The side window shattered for the first time. The bus screamed, not the engine, the entire bus. A deep, unnatural howl echoed through the forest. Every silent passenger suddenly looked terrified. Their empty expressions vanished, one by one. They stood, then walked through the broken window into the night. As each escaped, they faded into soft white light. Old men, children, families, travelers from different decades. Finally, Ethan stood. He looked at his friends and smiled. "Thank you." Then he stepped through the broken window and disappeared into the light. The driver's calm expression finally broke, his eyes filled with anger. "No!" The yellow bus began falling apart. Rust spread across its body. Glass shattered. Seats crumbled into dust. The headlights went dark. Within seconds, the ancient vehicle collapsed into a pile of corroded metal. The driver dissolved into drifting black smoke. The forest became silent once more. Morning sunlight filtered through the pine trees. Birds began singing. The thick fog was gone. A real highway lay only a few hundred meters away. The four survivors walked toward it. When they reached the road, there was no sign of the bus, no waiting station, no tire tracks, nothing. Only one object remained beside the shoulder. A perfectly clean bus ticket. Alex picked it up. It read, Route R17, valid for your next journey. On the back, fresh black ink slowly appeared. One seat is still empty. The ticket folded itself. Somewhere far away, a bus horn echoed one final time. The end.